All right, so hello everyone. We are about to start our second webinar for Ukraine Global Scholar students by the Project Management Institute. My name is Helen Pitgorna and I'm Ukraine Global Scholars Program Director. And today with Project Management Institute representatives, we'll be talking about different paths in project management. Both educational and professional, and our distinguished speakers today will share their experience in project management careers, and also we'll talk about about PMI certifications today. So, and it's my pleasure now to invite Jill Liebling from Project Management Institute to start the meeting and introduce the speakers.
Great, thank you so much. We're excited to be here. I have been with PMI for about 8 years, and we're headquartered in outside of Philadelphia in Pennsylvania, USA, but we are a global organization. PMI is the world's leading professional association for project managers. It's a growing community of millions of people across the world, both project professionals and change makers worldwide. As the world's leading authority on project management, PMI empowers people to make their ideas a reality. So through global advocacy, networking, collaboration, research, education, PMI helps prepare organizations and individuals to work smarter and in an ever-changing and dynamic world. We have, you can see here, we have a global presence. We have 14,000 volunteers, some of which are on this webinar with us today, and you'll hear where they're from. We have 308 plus chapters across the world. So wherever you are, wherever you go to school, I know some of you are in process of applying to schools. We have communities across the world that can help you, support you, and help mentor you. And we have 1.6 million certification holders. So you can see that we have people across the world in an ever-growing project management community. So just to remind you, in case you weren't on the first webinar, what is project management? It is the use of specific knowledge, skills, tools, techniques to help deliver something of value to people. So whether it's personal or professional, everyone is working on a project of some sort, and it can be beneficial to you. So it's those skills that we're talking about. And PMI helps bring that community of project managers together to help share their experiences, their best practices, the research that they do, the new technology, new ideas, and bring it all together so that we can help grow the future of project management, because we all know that the world is ever changing. And so these skills that project management bring you will help you, whether it's in your career or your personal life, they can help you be more productive in your daily life. So today we have gathered 4 guests for you that are currently working in the industry around the globe, and they're going to share their career journeys with you. And we'll have time for questions at the end. So please, jot them down. If you're like me, you'll forget them by the time we get there. But we'll talk at the end after they've kind of presented their journeys and answer any questions. Feel free to probe their knowledge in whatever areas you're asking about. So let me introduce our first speaker, and it's Bobby Abaxi, and he is, an instrumentation engineer and a project manager with extensive experience in consulting, strategy, design, managing cross-functional, geographically dispersed teams in business operations and process improvement areas, and scaling from startups to enterprise organizations. He's focused on driving productivity for organizations in ambiguous environments, by leveraging his management skills, versatile technical experience, and interpersonal skills to work with diverse multicultural groups and deliver high quality work. He's been volunteering with PMI since 2016, and he was voted the youngest vice president of all time at the Puget Sound Project Management Institute, Seattle chapter, where he oversaw the membership and community portfolio. And it's one of the world's largest volunteering organizations in North America. His goal is to be a businessman and provide his own consulting services while bridging the gap between the customers and enterprises. So welcome, Bhavya.
Thank you, Jill. Wow, that was a long introduction. I feel good about myself already now. Thank you, Jill. First of all, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank the organizers of this meeting for inviting me here today. I'm truly honored to have the opportunity to address, one of the distinguished audiences today. Definitely, the true leaders of tomorrow, and I cannot wait to be a part of your journey if I can. It's great to see you all. My name is Bhavya Bakshi, and my friends call me B Square or BB sometimes. I got called pretty yesterday, and it actually felt good. But actually, the full sentence was "you're pretty annoying." But I'm just choosing to, focus on the positive today, and that's just who I am as a person. I am a project management consultant by profession. I am an artist at heart. I play a bunch of different music instruments, and I love traveling. And as it says here, I'm a millennial. I'm going to be turning 30 in the next 14 days this month. And yeah, I'm kind of excited, also bummed at the same time. I'm going to be a year older now. So, my backaches are going to continue to hurt more and more. Definitely not happy about that. But no, I come from an engineering background. I am a manager, a consultant, project management, something that I love, what I do. I also have my own startup. It's a food delivery business. It's a local startup, boot funded, and truly trying to help the localites here in the food business. As you can see, I'm an advocate. From the pics, you can see, definitely looks like, gives the vibe of an adventure and a thrill seeker. But this is just the beginning because, my true adventure personality is coming to test because next month I'm going to get married. So I'm going to be on the biggest adventure of my life. And yeah, super excited for that as well. I am a firm believer in networking and connections. I love meeting people, love to get to know them, understand what their experiences are, backgrounds, or what culture they come from, and really help connect with them. Because as we continue to focus more on technology every day, I would want to continue the human sentimental values and the human touch that we have, which seems to be decreasing over a period of time. So it's great to be here, and I'm excited to be here today. Can we move on to the next slide, Jill? All right. As I said, I'm going to be focusing on the positives today. But actually, the funny thing is the human brain actually starts working the moment you're born. But then, and it never stops actually. But then when you stand up to speak in front of the audience like this, yeah, that's the moment it stops. So apologies if I, hesitate a little bit. It's purely out of excitement and honor. So please bear with me for the next few minutes. I come from an engineering background. So I did my instrumentation engineering from University of Mumbai. It was back in high school during my 11th or 12th. That's when I took IT as my vocational subject. Okay. And that's where something that I wouldn't hope for any student is I was literally crying before my examination, an evening before the examination, because IT was something that, never really my cup of tea, if you will, never really got the knack of it. Yeah, ironically, I'm working currently for Microsoft right now. So yeah, hard to believe that, but definitely not a computer engineer or not an IT guy. something that I pretty much decided on that evening that I'm not going to be, I am going to be doing engineering and technical stuff, but I'm not going to be a computer IT guy. That's when and since I was a kid, I wanted to be, more like a pilot or, locomotive engineer or something like that, someone who flies or drives. But then my dad came in and said, okay, you know what, Bhavya, if you are going to self-finance, definitely go for it. I'm all up for that. But if you're asking me to finance that, yeah, it's not going to happen. It's very expensive here to do that. So there goes my dreams right there from 100 to 0. But then, I decided that, okay, if I cannot fly or, ride the bike, I can definitely make one, and that's when I chose to be in the engineering field. It gave me these learnings. And throughout my presentation, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to walk through the experiences and help you guys understand what I've learned. And hopefully that helps you, to make certain decisions as and when you come across through a similar or certain experiences. So what has engineering taught me? It gave me the curious mindset. It gave me the logical reasoning, meaning it made me think, okay, why is it happening? What is happening? And what made it happen? Giving that curious mindset, giving the scientific approach to things, that is something that I learned, and it has helped me tremendously at every phase of my career. After engineering, you also learn how to think above and beyond, because you learn a lot of theories, you learn a lot of practicals, but there are times where you come across a situation or a problem where you don't really have a solution at hand and that's when you have to think above and beyond. And that is what engineering has taught me. I know it's not easy to believe, but it's something that I've learned over a period of time. And when I look back and fall back on things, it's like, oh yeah, that helped. It's definitely those skills that I acquired over those 4 years of my training within the engineering domain that I was able to apply it here now. So those are the key 3 things that I learned from engineering. Now I finished my engineering. I'm here. I'm like, I want to work in a field where my technical knowledge is well assisted by my managerial skills. And I come from a family who's a business oriented. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to do project management. So I decided to pursue my master's. I moved across the globe to the US. I was based out of Seattle. I did my master's at the Northeastern University. And those were the years that were the transformation years for me, because when I moved to the US, a completely new culture. Why? Because I'd never lived alone. New people, new environment, new culture, new food habits, everything was new. So, when you're 21, 22, early 20s, and you're going through these experiences, it cannot get any better. I know it's hard to believe, but trust me, it makes you learn and makes you grow as a person, as a professional, as a human being. Project management, it taught me the analytical approach as to weighing your pros and cons, what's good, what's bad, and looking at the situation, what will be something in the favor of the project. And really helped me expand the knowledge base and the fundamentals of project management. And to sum it up, what I would say is give me the wings to fly. And because project management is something that you apply in every field, you name the industry and we have its applications. So that's kind of how I saw it. And I wanted to keep my scopes open. And that's when I, grinded myself, went through a lot of internships and, had some good struggle time in my life, which I'm always, always proud of. So post my my master's, that's the huge leap for any youth, any young professional, where it's like, okay, you're officially an adult, you've graduated now, you have life at your feet, you have the world with you now, go do your thing, I know it sounds very exciting, super flamboyant lifestyle that you're going to have and everything. But then when you enter the work life, like the expectations that you have to carry with yourself changes drastically. And that's what I learned during my corporate life. I learned the consulting business. I fortunately had some good people I surrounded myself with who were able to help me out whenever I had a learning or two to do. So It gave me the tools, the skills to learn how to execute and implement tasks. It helped me read between the lines. And when I say read between the lines, there's an example I want to share. So I was, super happy I got the job offer letter. By the way, which, okay, I'm going to talk about that later, about that experience. But okay, I had a job offer letter. I was happy. I was 1 week into my role, very new to Microsoft and its business. And I was pulled into a meeting. Okay, this meeting is with, senior VPs and directors and, all the big folks, all the senior leadership team who are making business decisions right off the clock. And I am right there sitting there trying to understand the lingo and, the acronyms that the people are speaking with. And I'm like, all right, I'm not sure what am I doing here. I'm not sure if I'm adding any value here, but, let's see what it goes. And at that very moment, the first thing which project management taught me was ask a question. And if you fumble upon something, always let your stakeholders know. So what I did was I let my manager, who was thankfully in the room with me, was, okay, look, I'm not sure what's going on right now. And I am pretty certain that if they ask me a question, I'm not going to be able to answer. So if something comes my way, just make sure you tackle it in a certain way. So, and I had to look out for help. Point what I'm trying to make is ask questions, seek help if you need to. No one expects you to be a genius. No one expects you to be, to have all the answers ready. It's okay to not know something and ask for it. People will appreciate that, and it will help you grow more, faster than ever. So what I had done was, before I went into the meeting, right, I learned the overall project dynamics. I was able to I was able to do some little bit of research as to, okay, if I'm going in a meeting, what am I getting into? Who are the people I'm going to meet with? What are they going to talk about? And is there anything I can help? So there were a couple of questions that they asked me, and I handled it in a certain way. And at the end of the day, at the end of the meeting, the client, who was a senior VP, he's like, okay, Bhavya, it's great to have you on the project. It's great to see you getting up to speed. So that's what I say when I meant about reading between the lines. Really understand what the dynamics look like, what people you're working with, what the project or the situation asks from you, and deliver those results. And that you learn by also self-discipline. Make sure you have a routine, make sure you follow certain habits that help you grow as a professional. And stakeholder management. Oh boy, I cannot emphasize enough, being a project manager, how crucial this is. It is extensively crucial, okay? You have to keep everyone that you're working with happy. There will be times where you have to cross someone, or you may not agree with their views or opinions, but it's okay. It's okay to have cross opinions. Accept that, understand, and then act on it. We don't need to react on it. Remember that. And then during my 2020, my visa was up and I decided to move back to my home country. So I moved back in July of 2020 in the middle of pandemic from US to India. Trust me, that was another exhilarating experience. Definitely a lot to learn, when shit hits the fan and you don't know what to do. But yeah, it was surreal experience. But that's when I decided I observed the market here, how things were opening up gradually, phase by phase. And people were scared. People didn't know what to do, how to react. And me and a friend of mine decided to work on this startup. And that's where it gave us the idea of, helping people provide home cooked food, healthy home cooked food. And that's what my startup is all about. It's a completely remote startup. We meet not as often as normally organizations or companies do, but we're happy it's completely remote, and definitely one of the fastest growing startups that we have in the area right now. And understanding people, optimizing actions and processes, enhancing outputs, results driven approach, and at the end of the day, influencing and impacting lives. That's what it's all about. If you're able to help someone through your experience, always do that. Always go for it. All right, let's move on to the next slide. All right, so this is my PMI journey. I know I'm talking a lot. I'm going to be quick from now on. This is my PMI journey. I started in 2016. I started, as a junior PM or an associate level, where you're learning the industry, you're learning the game, how to do, supporting the leads, helping them get things done, and those kind of things. Within 6 months, I was recognized for the work that I did, and they gave me the opportunity to lead projects. I started leading projects. I was able to, establish contacts with teams beyond my own people. I was able to manage projects. I was able to oversee planning and development of the entire project lifecycle. And this is all while I'm studying. Okay, these volunteering that I did, the internships that I was able to secure was through PMI. So once I started going through PMI, I was able to understand, okay, how you need to be, how you need to be a good project manager. I started making contacts. I started working with people, started networking them, took out for coffees, had informational interviews with them. And after having a few of those conversations, guess what? I had an internship, right? Because I was able to get in touch with them at the right time. So you never know. World works in mysterious ways. Make sure you have something that you can always hold off of. And for me, that was PMI. And while I was 26, I was probably the youngest board member at the Puget Sound chapter. And I was, managing a portfolio of over 3,000 members all by myself. So something that I'm truly proud of and really happy that I was able to support and meet the needs of the community there. The next slide are just a few glimpses through, what I've done at multiple events at the PMI. I've had a chance to give presentations before. I've had a chance to lead meetings before. I was at the 2019 North America chapter, the Global Volunteering Leadership Meeting. And trust me, it's not only about work at PMI. We always have fun. That is an integral part of what we do. So it's not always work and, do things. It's always work-life balance. So you work and at the same time, you also have a lot of fun. Just wanted you guys to know how my life has been with the PMI so far. And these are a few glimpses of them. Moving on, I think a few key learnings that I've had throughout my career is never stop learning. Always skilling is extremely important. So make sure you always be up to speed with the skills that you're good at. Even if you're not good at it, learn it, hone it, develop it, relive it. Relive those moments where you feel like you're about to give up, but then you push yourself just enough that you're like, all right, you know what? I'm going to get this done. So skilling, learning, and of all important, make sure it's of highest quality. You compare yourself with others. That's a wrong attitude. Always make sure that you compare yourself with yourself. If you were a better person, a better professional than yesterday, you've done your job. Continue to it. Make your journey remarkable. That's what it's all about. The next one is the adapt to hybrid work. That is something that, we all have to learn at this stage, especially after the onset of pandemic. Everything's remote, everything's global. So choose your profession wisely, and from all, be the best, because that's how you're going to be recognized. Be the best at what you do, and God will do the rest. That's what I believe in. The next slide, it's a few focus I want you guys to have always when you're making decisions, when you're growing, is discover yourself, learn from everything, be open to change, don't hide from mistakes, fail often. It's okay. Fail often. It's a faster route to success than hiding your mistakes and not failing at all. So make sure, even if you're failing, it's recognized. Make sure you learn your lessons out of it. Keep moving forward. You can look back upon things, but never move backward. Always move forward. Make connections. Those are how you identify yourself. That's how people are going to remember you for. If you have good connections, people will remember you for who you are. So always make connections. Be patient. Things won't come. We know we are all, being a millennial, I myself am all about instant gratification, but we got to be patient. We got to let things work in our own ways. It will happen for us. Utilize your coworkers. As I said, ask for help if you need. It's okay. It's okay to not know something. And most importantly, treat everyone with respect. That's something that comes with us as a human being. I think from all these, the most important that I feel are two things: is be or keep your own counsel and find a mentor. So surround yourself with people that will vouch for you. Surround yourself with people that will think highly of you. They know who you are, they know who you come from, and they know your potential. So find a mentor if you can. And there will be times where you have to stand up for yourself. That's when you need your lawyering skills and be a good counselor of self. Okay. And there's a leadership quote that I have in this last slide. A good objective of leadership is to help those who are doing poorly to do well, and to help those who are doing well to do even better. And what I mean by that is, I always try to do that. If you're good at something, be better at it. Or if you're not good at it, try to be better at it. Try to be good at it. And if you need help, I'm here for it. So just with my closing remarks, something that I want you guys to think about, okay? Now, imagine jumping out of a skydiving plane, okay? You're out there exploring the world. You're jumping out of a skydiving plane and you're discovering your parachute doesn't work, okay? Now, at this very moment, okay, hold on to that. What memories would flash before you? Okay, think about it. Keep thinking. I don't need the answers. Keep it to yourselves. And then what would you do rather to live to its fullest? Okay, live life to its fullest. Think about those things. And then now you're about to lose your patience. You're about to lose everything. You're like, no, this is not done. And imagine the parachute opened up and you finally landed safely. It's all good. And now once you're on the feet by yourself, think how differently you act when you landed. Okay. There'll be a lot of difference. And trust me, I'm all here for that. Let me know if I can be of any help to you. And it's great to be here. I hope you were all unable to understand anything I said. Confused? What I'm trying to say is that it's good to learn from others' mistakes, right? And I hope people can learn from mine. So have a good day, folks, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Bhavya. Very good. We will hold questions till the end. I see there is one in the chat, so we will get to it. I want to introduce Janine now. Janine is a chemical engineer with solid knowledge in analytical chemistry. She's decided to change careers and is now working in the supply chain field as the demand planning coordinator at British American Tobacco. Her main responsibilities in this role are to implement a continuous improvement system, guarantee that forecasting demand meets the operations area needs, and she's the project leader in planning software implementation. She's been a PMI volunteer since 2019, where she's been collaborating locally and globally in the Next Gen Insight team and membership projects. Her professional goal is to be a project manager because she believes that by doing that, she will be able to have a positive influence for others through the projects in which they could identify and apply their potential. So welcome, Janine.
Thanks, Jill, for introducing me. Hello, everyone. First of all, I'd like to say that it's a pleasure to be here today, and I'm very honored with this opportunity. So thank you so much for all of you that organize and are taking your time to be here today. So my name is Janine. I'm Brazilian. I'm 30 years old. I'm both technical, chemical technician and engineer. I have a project management MBA certificate. Now I work as demand planning coordinator at a multinational. I'm a PMI volunteer globally and locally speaking. And I love to travel, and I truly believe in collaborative work. Here you can see a picture of me in the beginning of this year in a PMI Global Volunteer Summit. It was the first time that I traveled to the US, so it was like a huge opportunity. And I have the memories from this event, from the summit, like in my heart. It was a wonderful time, and this is why I want to share this picture with you here today. You can change the slide, please, Jill. Well, so talking a little bit more about my career path. My professional path has started in 2007 when I've decided to invest in the industrial career because of my father, who is always an inspiration, and his career was in this field. So in Brazil, we have some courses that give you a technician certificate, which is more operational, but allow you to start your career in good positions. So to have this certificate, I worked as an intern at Petrobras, which is an oil company in Brazil. And actually, I liked this technical course more than I was expecting, and I decided to continue my studies in chemistry. But I'd like to work in large scales, not just in the labs, like preparing chemical analysis and stuff like that. This is why I chose engineering, and I started the course in 2010. During the course, I worked in 2 research groups about very different topics, but none of them was actually what I was looking for to my career. So in the last 2 years of my bachelor course, I worked as an intern at Gerdau, which is a steel industry. And there I had the first contact with projects and continuous improvement. Unfortunately, there was an economic crisis in Brazil in 2016, and I got fired shortly after becoming an effective employee at Gerdau. So the world can always surprise you, right? Because in 2017, I was needing a new job, and I started working again as a chemical technician in the company that I'm still working for. So at this point, I would like to share with you that I was very discouraged about my career and the decisions that I had made until then. But as Bhavya said in some point, you have to have like a force, like a strength to keep going. So I decided to try more to advance my career more, and I started the MBA course in project management. I remember that in the very first class they mentioned PMI, and that you can volunteer to work with PMI and get experience in the field, something that I didn't have until now, basically. That's what I did. And in 2019, I started to work as a volunteer at PMI, and PMI has been changing my life in so many ways. It is giving me a lot of opportunities to challenge myself, and I'm learning a lot with it. So my growth after I started to work at PMI and learning project management, my growth was so fast that in 2020, I was promoted in the lab that I was working as a chemical technician. And 1 year after, I decided to apply to a position in the supply chain area in the same company, because I saw it as a shortcut to advance my career. So it's working, because less than 9 months working as a planning analyst, I was promoted again to the position that I hold now. So I see it as the beginning of my career, and I can really see myself as a project manager in the future. And this background is helping me a lot to guide me through the path for project management. Okay, guys, but why am I telling you my boring work journey, right? It's because I want to give you 2 pieces of advice, right? I don't know if you have, Jill, the... Yes, please. Again. Thank you. So I want to give you 2 pieces of advice. Be patient. Bhavya mentioned this as well. Because things will happen in the right time. So you can see, I started my career journey in 2007, and I see myself as a success person only now. And it's something that takes time. Sometimes it's not always like that, but sometimes it will be like this. So be patient. The other thing is enjoy your journey, because you can learn so much having different experiences, and you can get to know amazing people in your way and learn and share and connect and this will help you in your future. Next slide, please. Okay, guys, so during my time at school, I wish I knew 4 things that I want to share with you. The first of all is that studying a foreign language is very important, at least in Brazil, because it helps you to advance your career faster. And I'm not someone that had the opportunity to study English since I was a kid. So this is something that I wish I knew it before. The second thing is participate in the school, university fairs and competitions, because if I had do this, it would have helped me to acquire not only hard skills in the field that I was studying, but also acquire more soft skills. For example, communication, negotiation, discipline, and so on. The third thing that I'd like to know is there are lots of hands-on opportunities to try your dream career, such as internships and volunteer work. So a key tip here, you can try more than one dream career, at least in my experience. The last thing I wish I knew is talk to people that work in the field, because then you can understand more about the professional, the challenges, the daily routines, what is not that good, what they would have did it different, and they can show you their path so you can walk your own based on the mistakes and the things that went well in their careers. Next slide, please, Jill. And my career, as you could see until now, I doesn't have one path, but trying to be more specific about the paths that I've been experiencing until now. The chemistry path is amazing. Okay, you have lots of opportunities here. And I would say that if you like to pursue this career path, you have to be curious, ask the whys, and be very analytical, because small changes in any process can bring different results, right? So in the supply chain field, it's a huge area. It's a huge field. You can work, for example, as a specialist, I don't know, maybe in deployment or procurement, and you can direct your studies to this specific field, or you can be a generalist, meaning that you can manage different areas, and to do that, you have to have a holistic view of all the business. Okay, but for all the paths you choose, my advice is learn project management, be open-minded, and embrace the opportunities, okay? Because you can always learn something that will help you to get closer to your career dream, even if it changes in the future. Next, please, Jill. And here, I'd like to mention 2 certificates that might be interesting for you. I hope so, and that I have. So the first one is the project management MBA certificate, and which can also be a PMI certification that Roman will present to you later. And this MBA course has helped me to advance my career and to get to know PMI. And well, PMI brings me here today. So this is something that it's very important to me. And the second one is the Wicked Problem Solving Practitioner. And this course builds creative collaboration and problem solving skills. And by this course has helped me to make my plan to grow my career by using specific problem-solving techniques and to enhance my toolbox for collaborative work, which is something that I mentioned before that I really like to do. And to finish my presentation, I like to share this quote from an unknown, which says that the difference between who you are and who you want to be is what you do. And I'm pretty sure that you are all in a good path because you are part of the USG and you are here today trying to learn and to learn with our mistakes and our good decisions. So this is something that I really want to keep in mind. Thank you so much, guys. And I'm sorry if I speak too fast.
Thank you, Janine. You did a great job. I see we're running a little short on time, so I just want to mention to the speakers if you can try and be concise. Our next speaker is James. He's the Director of Supply Planning at Adidas for the Footwear Division in Indonesia. He started his project management career in PMOs, which is project management offices of the aerospace industry, where he spent 4 years implementing frameworks and controlling large-scale projects. In 2015, he simultaneously changed industry, company, and location when he joined the sporting goods giant at the headquarters in Germany as senior project manager for the apparel division. Since then, he's accepted various roles in different locations, including China and Vietnam, before relocating to Indonesia in 2021. James is an active member of the PMI Institute since 2012. So welcome, James. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon and good evening, everybody. So my name is James Mengad. I'm from Montreal, Canada, and I'm currently based in Jakarta, Indonesia. So before we move on to the next slide, I just want to give a little bit of a glimpse of all the titles that I had over the course of my career so far. And as you can see, although it was almost all in project management, except my current one, which is more operational, it does not necessarily say project manager, right? It varies from a program management analyst to a senior project manager to a senior manager, manufacturing excellence. So it's only to say that project management is everywhere and it's presented in different shapes and forms. So you have different ways of applying project management and also contributing to projects within organizations. It's all about the mandate and also the type of department or function that you're going to be working on. So don't limit yourself when you do your career search in a couple of months or years from now. Don't limit yourself to the title project manager alone. You can find project management everywhere. And I hope that I wrote the little it's nice to meet you in the correct way. I used Google Translate, but I don't know if it's correct or not. I hope so. Okay.
It is absolutely correct. Thank you so much. That's very sweet, James.
Thank you. So I think we skipped one slide, right? Yeah, correct. So my career path. I am not an engineer. I have a bachelor's degree in operations management. And during my bachelor's degree, I did a student exchange in France. And that was the first time that I heard about project management. I subscribed to a class called International Project Management. And there was a gentleman who was a project manager at IBM at the time, who was a project management professional, certified PMP. And he spent the whole semester selling his story and telling us why project management is so amazing. So obviously it worked because he gave me the idea of applying to the master's degree in project management when I came back to Montreal, to my home base. So this is where the journey starts on my timeline here. So what you can see is the MPM, the master's degree in project management, which I've conducted from 2010 to 2012. I've also, so from the academic part, I had the chance to do the PMP certification in 2013. And later on, I did my MBA from 2013 till 2015 while simultaneously working. From a professional side, as was mentioned already, I started my career in the aerospace industry. And that was not necessarily something that I was aiming for or planned for. It was much more of a question of circumstances and luck, I would say, that we had the opportunity to apply to an internship at the Canadian Space Agency. So I did, and I got it. So my first 6 months was in the IT department, where I learned fast-paced projects related to softwares and applications to support the engineers working at the agency. And the second part of my internship, this next 6 months, was at the corporate office, project management office, where I was responsible for deploying templates and tools and governance to help again and support the project managers in their major endeavors. So at that point in time, I was not a project manager yet. I was working in project management in a project management office responsible for setting up the standards and templates to help all the project managers do their work. In 2015, I got headhunted at a company, Bombardier, which is a Canadian company where the headquarters is based in Montreal. So also in aerospace, and I was working in product development as part of another project management office to monitor and control the development of a new business aircraft that was being developed at that time. So my roles varied from controlling the risks of the project to controlling the budget to implementing new processes to make sure that the money was spent in the right way, as well as the schedule was progressing in the right way. If you ever hear the term earned value management system, and this is what I was responsible for implementing at that point in time. In 2014, I took a vacation and I went to Brazil to go to the World Cup because sports is my passion. And this was a turning point in my life where I decided to make a change in my career and apply to Adidas in Germany. And this is how it all came together. And I decided to relocate to the headquarters in Germany. So at that point in time, you know, it's always weird when people ask me, how come you came from aerospace and then you went to the sporting goods manufacturing industry? But actually, you will talk to many project managers over the course of your career, and you will notice that everyone is working on something different. When I did my master's degree in project management in Montreal, we were 24 people in my class. And although everyone had exactly the same formation, the same master's degree, the same diploma, everyone is working in a different industry. So we all have the same technical knowledge, the same basis, but we're all applying it to gaming industry, banking, information technologies, supply chain management, aerospace, you name it. So when we come together, we all speak the same language. And you will notice that also if you ever join the Project Management Institute and you come together to these cocktails and gatherings, that everyone is from a different industry and a different background. And yet we all speak the same language and we all share the same passion and we're all super enthusiastic about it. So I'm sure B Square and Janine can vouch for that as well. So when I joined Adidas, so maybe we can move on to the next slide. It will help me support my points. So I'm sure you can guess in which countries these pictures were taking. So my first 3 years were in Germany. And I was part of the apparel team, and my role as a senior project manager was to help implement tools and projects to support and gain efficiency in product development. So as you can see, coming from aerospace in product development and now in sporting goods industry, also in product development, there were definitely things that I could leverage from both sides. During my 3 years in Germany, I had the opportunity to do a short-term assignment in China for 3 months, which was much more of an operational role that has nothing to do with project management. And the goal for this was basically a gateway to the manufacturing side of the company that is mostly happening in Asia. So during these 3 months, I was affected to the development of the World Cup match ball for Russia 2018. So I was working on that, making sure that the production lines were set up in the correct way so that we can start mass production in vision of marketing, bringing this match ball to the market. During these 3 months, I connected with someone who was going to become my future vice president. So he heard about my 3 months and he was very pleased with the work that I've done. And then he asked me if I were ever interested to relocate to Asia to work in his team in manufacturing excellence. Basically, the manufacturing excellence team is an industrial engineering team that is responsible for implementing various projects in the factories to gain efficiency, such as automation, lean manufacturing, operational excellence, and product engineering. So remember that I'm not an engineer, although he still came to me and saw something in me that could be beneficial with my project management background. And he thought that this could be complementing the team that he already had in place. So he had 2 roles. He said, one is in China, the other one is in Vietnam. Which one would you like to have? And I answered Vietnam. Still not sure why at that time that I answered Vietnam. All I knew is that I went there before on a business trip and I absolutely loved it. And I wanted to pursue the experience over there. So I went back to Germany, packed my things, sold the few furnitures that I had, and then went on in April 2018 to Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. So then for 3 years, I worked in implementing automations and lean manufacturing processes and learning basically the job of an engineer while relying on my project management skills to help me gain that experience, which worked. And from that point, basically my previous vice president, who was based in China that I just mentioned, and also the country manager in Vietnam, both approached me and asked if I would be interested in relocating to Indonesia with a promotion as a director of supply planning. So basically, it would imply that for the first time in 12 years, I would get out of project management to basically learn a little bit more about operations, day-to-day operations, in the context of COVID-19 with logistics disruptions and supply chain disruptions. So you can imagine how very stressful and difficult was my year as I was stepping out of my comfort zone for the first time in 12 years. But the idea was that this role will help me lay out the foundations so that later on, when I move on to my next role, I would be able to manage projects at a larger scale in the organization. So I'm still in the process of gaining that experience, but still with that goal in mind. So let's move on to the next slide. A couple of points, a few things that I would like that I would have liked to know. Had I known that, and this is something that I discovered only when I arrived in Germany, that there were so many interns every 6 months. There were new groups, new contingencies of interns. And had I known that this would exist, I would have applied back then for an internship in Germany rather than in the aerospace industry. Not to say that it was not beneficial, because it still led me to the right place, but let's just say that it probably pushed my ambition and dream to work for that company 5 years further, which will bring me to the next point, know the immigration regulation in the country that you're aiming for. So when you come from North America or outside of the Eurozone, let's say, or Schengen zone, if you want to apply to a job there, the work permit regulations are so rigid that they will look into the country first and then their zone secondly, and later on they will look outside. So you can imagine that my chances to join Adidas at the headquarters from day one after graduating were very slim. But having had an internship beforehand would have streamlined this process. So because of that, I had to gain 5 years of experience and then apply again, which finally worked, luckily. If you decide to pursue a career path, what advice would you give me? Understand whether you want to be a generalist or a specialist. So when you work, you're going to have always two choices. You can either be very, very good in one thing and you will be working in that field throughout your whole career, or you can expand your horizon and try different things so that you become basically a jack of all trade and master of none. And what I would say is there's no right or wrong in that. Some people love to master their skill and be very proficient at it their whole career. And some people like to know a little bit of everything and would like to reach higher grounds in an organization in a leadership position and potentially at a vice president position and whatnot. So one of the two paths will bring you to different avenues. So it'll be up to you to decide and understand what kind of person you are and what do you cherish the most and what will you do to bring you there. Get comfortable in discomfort. By definition, in project management, every project is different. So even if you do the project management your whole life, it's going to be a different story every time. So you have to get used to that. But I would say also, if you show a little bit of flexibility in changing locations, changing functions, changing departments, and changing roles, if you can find comfort in that discomfort, that would also help streamline your career as well. I'm not very old. I'm a little bit older than my two co-presenters. I'm 36 years old, but I would say that what helped me a lot in progressing in my career was to change roles frequently every 3 years. So there's maybe researching a company that will support that is a good idea. So Adidas, I'm lucky. It's a company that really helps changing locations and changing departments easily every 3-4 years. Some other companies, I would say it's a little bit more rigid. When I was in the aerospace industry, it was definitely not that pace. And finally, what certification do I have and how they have helped me? So obviously, the PMP certification is internationally known. So this is something that talent acquisition teams and HR departments will type into their LinkedIn or database to try to find potential candidates, but also the MBA. So having a master's degree in project management, I was very conscious that the 3 letters MBA were more recognized around the world, and that's the main reason why I went to get it. So I would say when you think of getting a certification, when you think of getting extra credentials, think of what it will bring you on the market also, and if it's going to contribute to increase your value on the market or not. And to finish, one more thing I would say is there's other ways to gain experience, not only within your work, but also outside. So for example, before even joining Adidas, I was very often a volunteer in sporting events. And this is where I connected into the world of FIFA and sports and football and all of that. And that basically confirmed my love for this industry and for this world. I was also part of the board of my football team when I was in Vietnam, which helped me develop leadership skills, which I was able to defend while applying to the role of director that I currently hold. So these type of little experiences you can get in different ways. Also volunteering for the Project Management Institute helped me manage my first project, and that was definitely an experience that I put on my resume to prove that although in my real job I did not yet manage a real project at a certain point in time, I was still able to say that I did it in extracurricular curricular activities. Moving on to the next slide. Okay, so these are just a couple of pictures that I would like to show that, you know, work hard, play hard is very important also. So as much as connecting with different cultures and how enriching it can be to live abroad and to, you know, experience with the locals is something that is priceless. So I'm definitely vouching for that. I know a lot of you guys are located in different locations, so try to leverage that as much as you can because it's really amazing, and it really brings another level to your career that is priceless. I invite all of you to connect with me. So this is my LinkedIn QR code if you would like to scan it. Otherwise, I know it's also going to be shared by Jill later on as part of the deck. And also, if you would like to apply to Adidas, you can also reach the career website and see if there's any project management roles or internships or entry-level opportunities that you would like to seek. We like to keep the 50% foreigner ratio at the headquarters. So there's a lot of people coming from all over the world, which really enriches the experience. So it's definitely an opportunity that you have if this is a field that you would like to explore. I can say that Adidas is really promoting that diversity and inclusion aspect of things. And I think that was my last slide, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it was. Thank you so much, James. Appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone, for your time. It's been a pleasure to share with you my career path, and I'm looking forward to the questions if we have time later on. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we have our last speaker. I know we're running over a little. I appreciate you guys hanging in there with us. So our last speaker is Roman. He's the vice president at Intellius and volunteers as the president of the PMI Ukraine chapter. If you were on our first webinar, he was also a guest there, so he might look familiar. He has a PhD in economics and is a certified project management professional, PMP. He's also certified information technology infrastructure library, Prince2, and scaled agile framework. He served as a volunteer reviewer for the PMBOK 7 edition, and he won the best professional in project management in Ukraine in 2017 and PMI's Young Professional in 2020. So welcome, Roman.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, thank you very much, Jill, for the warm introduction. And I know it's interesting observation that the more project managers you have in the same room, the more out of schedule you usually get. So some time ago, Jill reached out to me and said that I have 8 to 10 minutes to tell you something useful about your career that you can potentially use. So I was thinking, okay, what should I share? And for today, I have actually 2 topics, one about certification, and I know this is something that you're interested in. And second, I want to tell you about an approach called backcasting. So likely you heard the term forecasting when you try to predict the future and, like estimate something that's gonna happen in the future. But I suggest thinking about another approach, which is backcasting. What does it mean and why we should think about it, talking about our career? In the very beginning of my career, I noticed that majority of people that surrounded me, they build their career a bit chaotic. So usually your first job you get by accident, then after a few years, you fed up with your existing work and you look for something better. And, like people usually are not really think few steps ahead talking about their career. So they just, like changing work from one to another, looking for like better salary, better conditions, some new opportunities. But unlikely you think, okay, what should be my place of work after like 2 or 3 companies or something like that. So that's something I suggest to you to brainstorm and ask yourself, like, we usually make jokes that right now is pretty stupid question when someone asks you on the interview, what's your plan for the next 5 years? Because, you never know what's going to happen next year. Like we have like 1 year of COVID, another year of war. And, like predicting something for 5 years sounds like really optimistic. But try to think about your future place of work. I mean, about 10 years. So where would you like to be? That time I was the beginner of IT, like I was IT engineer. And I thought, okay, I want to be CIO, chief technology, chief informational or chief digital officer. That time we don't have like chief digital officer. So I was thinking between chief technology and chief informational officer for a large company, 1,000+ people. And then I was start thinking, okay, whom should I be in order to be able to apply for this position? So what should be my job before this? And I thought, okay, likely I should be like something like vice president. I start analyzing the careers of the people already on that position, check their LinkedIn. checked like requirements to these positions that I were able to find in the internet. And I thought, okay, looks like I would need to be like vice president of something before applying to CSUT. And what should be my career before this show? Whom should I be in order to be enabled to apply for vice president? And I was thinking about like several options for us to grow in one company or switch from the consultant field, because I saw that actually many VPs, they actually come from consulting, and like you can get really nice experience out of there. And I was start thinking about, okay, how can I get to the consultant field? And I also analyzed few different careers of the people that I know or that I'm able to find, and I found out that actually project management is actually a good path to consultant career or to like different leadership positions. So I choose that out of IT engineering, I need to switch to project management, and then from project management to consultant, and then to more senior position. And that's how I more or less predicted my career something like 10 years ago. And more or less I'm on my plan, so I'm actually executing that plan that I had that time. And I also, on each position, I try to look around and look at my colleagues and find the best ones. So find those ones who are the best in the companies. And I was trying to analyze, okay, what they did or what they're doing that everyone thinks that they're best one. I tried also to explore on the market. So who are the best project managers in Ukraine? So why people think that they're the best? And, for me, that was also an indicator where I should develop. Jill mentioned like one of the awards I get in Ukraine. It's like annually it was done by IT Association of Ukraine. They awarded like best professional in project management. And I do remember when it was just launched, this award, I was checking the requirement and the application form, and I realized that they have nothing to put in this form. And I used this form to build my career as a plan. Okay, what should my career look like that in 3-4 years I could actually apply for this award and win it? And basically that worked out. I actually tried to get that experience that I needed to win in this competition. I analyzed the winners, and I managed to win one year. Like it was like my first successful application. So that's how I built my career. Just quick overview. I started my career in bank as IT engineer. Then I developed to head of IT department. Then I moved to another company who was actually our service providers. They did different services for us. And I realized that in bank, I have very narrow scope of work. But if I work with this service company, I have multiple banks like this, and my experience would be much broader. So I go there, became their project manager, did multiple projects. So I did a lot of projects for Euro 2012. We did different new objects for this football championship. I grew it a bit in this company until program manager. It was like both in the bank and this company I spent for 3 years. Then I worked in the company called SoftServe. I joined this company because at that time it has the best reputation in terms of their school of project management. And I went there and I grew there the whole ladder of project management career. I moved to project management office. Then I launched my own practice inside of the company, consultant practice. And then I switched to Intellis. I was headhunted by another company. And now I'm performing the role of vice president. I'm responsible for 54 projects, 625 engineers. We do projects for clients in the US, Europe. Some of our clients, we don't have Adidas among our clients, but we have Nike. And we have Apple. We had Apple. We completed the project, data transition project for them, and some other big logos. So basically, that's what I do. That's my career, and that's something that I suggest you to do. Before joining any first company, try to think, okay, where would you like to be? Who are the best players on this market? What they do already? What you can actually do the same, and you can actually realize that you can build your career much more efficient and spend much less time to achieve your goal than just jumping from one job to another looking for some better salary. So that's probably first takeaway that I want you to take out to plan your career. Second, I was asked about certification. You know, it's interesting thing. Jill, can you please switch to the next slide? Yeah, that's a horrible schema. I built it like some time ago. I was writing a big article about project management certification. As Jill mentioned, I have quite a few like PMP, ITIL, Prince2, Skeletal Gel Framework, but I passed them not because I love certification that much. I worked with different clients and they demanded it. So I started like my career as project manager. So I thought like, okay, PMP was the first one. This is kind of very basic certification for me. I mean, this is something I think every project manager must have, just a baseline. Then I start working with the clients from UK, and in UK, PMP is not that popular. They're more following Prince2, and okay, I passed Prince2. Then I had like service project, like we did service support 24/7, and I passed ITIL because we need to build ITIL processes. And then I had like 100+ people working on one big product, and we that time it was just introduced, and we start implemented Skeletal Gel framework, and I go through the certification. But that doesn't mean you need to go through all this certification and get as many certification as possible, because, for example, now when I'm hiring project managers, too many certification is a red flag for me. I think it's you know, like a bit unhealthy if you see like too many 3 letters abbreviation after someone's surname. So the first question you should ask yourself, why you need certification. There might be a few answers. First answer for yourself, for example, you want to learn some standard, and like Prince2, basically I can't say that client wanted me to pass the certification, but I realized that I have option just to read the book, or I have option to prepare the certification, which means I need to read the book multiple times and then somehow check if I understand it well. And I did it for myself just to like check that I'm not just read the book, but I really know what it means. So you can actually use certification just a checkpoint for yourself, that you know something that you want to learn. This is option number 1. Option number 2, if you see that that might work for your development of your career. Here you may have 2 options. First, almost every application for any job will go through several steps. First step is usually HR. HR screening your CVs, and they're trying to find keywords that they find useful for this work. Usually certifications are those keywords that they're looking for, and you have more chances to go through the screening procedure for the next step. So certification may help you to increase your chances to get to the interview rather than not having certification. Also, you know, like after the university, if you apply to some, you know, like in first level work, there might be a lot of applicants like you are. And certification is something that may somehow differentiate you from another group of people and get some advantages. So this is option number 1. Option number 2, when you're already working and you have like some kind of work, you may actually understand what kind of certifications are valued rather by your customers or inside of your company, which actually indicates for your company or your clients that you are more mature than others. So that's something that you can also use. But my suggestion, not just pass certification just because you want like to have more certification. In this case, I couldn't say that more is better. This is like decision tree. I will not go through all the tree because it's huge. You can review it by yourself. And Jill, if you can please switch to the next slide. You can scan the QR code, and some time ago I also wrote an article, sorry for our international friends, it's in Ukrainian language, but I believe there is somewhere in the internet the translation of it already. So it's a kind of guide how to choose project management certification. And you can go there, read everything about the certification. The article is a bit old, so it's like 4 years old or something, but I can't say that the project management world got changed significantly since that time. And more or less it's still relevant. Maybe some versions of the certifications get changed, but the key idea is still there. Yeah, so that's probably it from my side. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Roman. Again, I know we're over time, and I appreciate your patience. We do have a few questions if the guest speakers are able to answer some questions. somebody asked, and would you like to come on and ask? The first question was about, Bhavya, why you chose project management over engineering and what was so appealing in it to you personally.
Of course. So I wanted an engineering certification on my profile, definitely yes. But during my course, I realized that it wasn't something that, that was particularly appealing to me. Think of it this way, if you weigh 200 pounds on the earth, it's like only 76 pounds on the Mars. It means you're not fat, you're just on the wrong planet, right? So that's how I realized that this is not something I wanted to be my 9 to 5. It's something that I would like to have with my the skills that I obtained from it, and move to a career where my technical knowledge is well assisted by my managerial skills. And it was time to apply those concepts. And that's where I felt like project management seemed to be the next logical step to my career, where I'm able to keep my scopes open and at the same time really focus on the management side of things, and not really an MBA per se. So yeah, that's kind of how I stumbled upon the course. I came to know about the course the first time, and since then it's been my it's something that it's a part of my identity now.
Great, thank you. We have a question for Janine about what languages are important to know for a good career besides English. What would be useful for you on your way to success?
Oh, wow. Thanks for the question, Maria. In my opinion, and in the way that I see my career advancing, I think that Spanish, because I live in South America, so it's like kind of mandatory to have more career opportunities, right? And I would say that French I see as another important language to know, and Chinese, because when we think about supply chain, China is one of the huge markets that you will be involved with. So I think that these 3 languages will be like those that I would focus on. Hopefully, in some point, I will have the ability to speak all of them.
That's ambitious. Thank you, Janine. I don't see other questions at the moment, and I know that we are over time. So I encourage the Ukraine Global Scholars, if you have questions, to follow up. The contacts are in the slide deck that I will share with Helen after this. And just want to mention, we have Kickoff that we had talked about the last webinar that is a free 45-minute online course that you can take as an intro to project management. And there's a QR code and the link for you there. And our next webinar, we will get scheduled to talk about PMI membership. All our guests were very enthusiastic supporters of PMI, which we appreciate. And we are offering the Ukraine Global Scholars that are 18 and above up to 100 of you to get free membership. So we will do a webinar on that and how it can help you with your career journey. So I think that is all for us today. I don't know if Helen has any wrap up, but we appreciate all the guests coming on. And thank you, Helen, for hosting us.
Thank you so much. And I would like to thank all the speakers for contributing your time to developing Ukraine Global Scholars students. You are a true inspiration for them, and you're a true inspiration for our community. I personally wish you lots of success in your future career path. It was a true pleasure having you today. And thank you so much for such valuable insights into project management and for your practical advice to our students. Jill, thank you so much for bringing together such a wonderful panel of speakers today. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. And as I've already mentioned, we will be sharing the recording with the whole community. And I will also include a brief introduction of each speaker in my follow-up email to the community. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you all.